So we do
I have
ask
to
one
ask.
question.
You know what the GOAT's number was? 23. And the thing about this podcast, REI Baddies, they also have 23 episodes in their first year. That tells you they are the GOAT of podcasting right now. They're filling the space between OGs in the business and brand newbies. They are absolutely killing it. And also, we need way more women investors that are doing podcasts. Why? Because right now, there's proof, scientific numbers that are telling us that more women are entering into the business of real estate investing and developing than ever before. Here's the thing. You got to go check out their podcast every Monday morning at 6 a.m. These guys are such baddies, that they drop an episode early in the morning because only early birds catch that worm.
What's up, Baddies Nation? Welcome back to another episode of REI Baddies, where real estate gets real. I'm your co-host, Rachel Davis.
And I'm Kate Baldwin. If you are new here, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and send this episode to a friend, because this is going to be one of those episodes that you want to actually watch through, because this is a very awesome interview.
Because today we've got April Elias, who is an investor, an acquisition strategist, an AI educator, and one of the few people that I've encountered that's bridging corporate systems with creative finance in a way that actually makes sense.
I know, and she spent years doing talent acquisitions, finding top people in for really large companies, and now she's using that exact format and that same hunter instincts to find deep equity deals and build relationships with sellers and teach investors how to use AI and handle those staff.
And for those of you who don't know, because you didn't go to Squad Up Summit and see her speak, she also just quit her W-2 job. And you don't do that on vibes. You do that by having a very strong vision, strategy, systems, and a framework that, frankly, she has her own name for: people, property, and AI.
I love it. So, and apparently Portugal too, which we're absolutely need all the details on.
So for people meeting you for the first time, April, who is April Elias, and how did you end up in real estate?
Yeah, well, thanks, Rachel. Thanks, Kate. I'm excited to be here. I always love chatting with you guys. So just a little bit about me. I joined the real estate investing community about 3 years ago now, zero real estate experience. But prior to that, and it pulls through to currently, is I've spent over 20 plus years in talent acquisition. Usually it's just high level executive search, agency, corporate, end to end. And so I've been able to leverage those skills into real estate because not 2 years ago, I doubled down on two things about 3 years ago, right when ChatGPT dropped. So late 2022, I was like, oh my gosh, because I've really been hands-on and tech forward just with solving problems on my desk. I was like, this is absolutely going to change things. And so I was like, well, let's double down on the AI even more. But that's tech. You never know what's going to happen. So then let's also double down on real estate because that can't be deleted. That's not digital. That's a hard asset. And so those are the two paths that I pursued, and they do a lot of cross-pollination, and it's kind of harmonious, even though it sounds like two totally separate things.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Kate, do you want to get kicked off with our first specific question?
Yeah. So what a part of real estate process, I guess, no, I don't really like that question. So when did you realize that your recruiting background actually gave you an edge in acquisitions?
Yeah. So one of the things that I did is, of course, I joined the community because I did some research and I was like, if I want to learn real estate, I need to learn from the best and I need to learn fast. And I'm at the point where I'm just like, if I don't care what it costs. Not that it costs a super ton, but I was like, I don't care what it costs. I'm willing to pay to have access to the best and to be able to consume a lot of information quickly. And so what I did was I got in and, I started consuming some of the the trainings and the information, and the advice that I got early on was like join a team and figure it out. And I was like, okay. So I joined a team. I was literally cold calling because I'm someone who started out as an old school headhunter. I have no problems picking up the phone, right? And I think it's fun because we didn't necessarily have LinkedIn all established
No, you
in.
couldn't background check anyone.
Yeah. So I started when it was just before Y2K, just to give you a little
Oh
little
gosh.
a little
Yeah.
sense of how long ago it was, because we were faxing resumes. Like it was old.
You don't look
And
that old, April. That's crazy. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you. And so what I did was I was like, sure, I love this. And I loved just the vibe of everybody like wanting to see each other win and help each other out. So I joined a team and they were like, call agents. This is the strategy. And so I just for a couple weeks in the evenings, because I was calling an earlier time zone, I'm on the East Coast. So they would send a list in a Trello board. And then I was just calling, like trying to figure it out, like what, and I was getting a feel for the I guess the strategies behind the creative finance, because that's what I really wanted to learn was creative finance. And so there were some scripts and then I just kind of made them my own, and after a few weeks I was like, "Oh, I got it. I got it." Things started clicking because all of the roles that I hire for, and historically what I've hired for, they're mostly people that I have to find and engage. They're not applying to jobs. I need the rock star and the rainmaker that's not looking. I typically have to engage them and pluck them out of wherever they're at. So I was like, well, I can use those same acquisition strategies of sourcing, identifying, and engaging passive talent. I can do that with agents and sellers. So it
Yeah.
was just the same framework, but instead of people, it was property, but I'm still talking to people to have a similar conversation. So as soon as I was like, oh, I got this, I know what I'm going to do. That's how it
I
started.
need to back up just 2 seconds.
Yeah.
What? Okay, so you are very successful at your W-2, and you
Yeah.
obviously had a W-2. You also had the 16 years, and then you also had your own agency.
Yeah.
What the heck did you do? You were cold calling?
Yeah. Cold calling.
Why?
I don't know. I like it. I don't know.
No, like what were you like when you so let me back up.
Hmm.
So why did you join this space? Like what was you so it sounded like you wanted to understand creative financing, right?
Yeah.
Is that the reason? I'm just so like blown away by what you just said because well no, because I mean honestly like it's really actually cool, but I was like she's cold calling. I mean, you have a very successful W-2 and it's not like it what was your really like you were like, yeah, I was trying to learn something. So
Yeah.
is that do you think that was the right route? I mean, obviously it was. You said it started clicking right away. What was your real reason going into this? Did you want to buy properties? Did you want to learn how to raise capital? Like what was your first instincts and how did you find pace and like even open the door to this?
Yeah.
This-
So the way I found Pace was I had looked at a few other, well, for the last 15 years, my husband and I have checked out different mentorships and we've never pulled the trigger. We're like, oh, that seems cool. We would go to like the hotel conference for the
Yeah,
day and then they ask you for like 60 grand at the end. And I'm like, nah,
no
I'm not
thank
ready
you.
for that. So I guess as a result of me, I think I did like some free masterclass or something, but nothing was really just like clicking for me. I was like, I really don't vibe with that group. And then, of course, an ad came up for Gator and pasted on my Instagram feed. And I
Oh,
was
of
like,
course he is.
oh, yeah.
He's
I
on
was
your
like,
Instagram,
oh,
your YouTube, your
yeah,
everything. I mean, I'm surprised he's not in my bathroom. Like
I
he's
know, right?
everywhere. I mean, I
Exactly.
can't get away from the guy.
And so when he popped up, he just caught my attention and it was about Gator. I didn't even know what sub 2 was. I didn't know what anything else was. And I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." I have a busy W-2, so I was initially attracted to maybe like lending out money for, being a
Okay.
Gator and being a private money lender. That's what I was like, "Oh, I'm so busy. I'll just put my money to work." And then
Yeah.
when I started to learn that and then I heard about sub 2, I was like, "Oh, hold on a second." And then I started hearing about all of this creative finance. So then I naturally joined that too, just to get access. And so that was my initial thought. But then I was like, well, if I can acquire assets, creatively because
Okay.
I'm somebody who I hate buying a house because the brain damage you have to go through with just getting a regular mortgage,
Yes.
even
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
your stuff
So
is in order.
it was
I'm
more
like,
personal than
no.
it was more personal than
Yeah.
it was business. Kind of at the
I
beginning.
mean, yeah, but the other thing that was the motivator was ChatGPT was dropped on us in late 2022. And I was one of the first ones in there that I knew of because I'm hanging out like a nerd on Discord servers with other like techie headhunters, like trying to
Right.
surface talent that's
Right.
not easily
Right. That's
accessible.
how you got into talent with the nerdy guys. Okay.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
figure out your connection with AI too. And through this whole journey, I was like,
And I hire them, right? And I hire them. So
yes.
part of the strategy to be a headhunter is to build your network of referrals because those guys aren't going to show up on LinkedIn, and if they do, they have literally
They don't
almost
care.
nothing on their profile. So it's and they're usually like hidden gems, or sometimes in tech they would misspell stuff just so people wouldn't hit them up because they're getting bombarded by recruiters. And so
Right.
what I did is because I'm hands-on technical and I like to build and just to solve volume problems and outreach problems on my desk is I would hang out in all these like techie spots where all the developers were and all the programs are and the architects. And so you get some of that through osmosis, but I'm also hiring for those roles. So I'm
Right.
hiring for AI, machine learning, and data science over 3 years ago. And I started out my career scientific engineering and IT back before Y2K. So
Oh my
it's
God, that was
just,
the hardest class for me in college. The
yeah,
IT science class. I took it 3 times.
yeah. Well, I didn't know. Well, I came in to fill the job
Oh,
because I started in an enterprise agency, meaning just large
yeah.
enterprise clients with lots and
Yes.
lots of openings, but it was all scientific engineering and IT. And I was like, I don't know what a PhD patent liaison does at this huge chemical company. Like, I don't know what this type of scientist is
So
as
you
a
have to learn.
pharmaceutical or even the IT. So what I did was the way that I learned was I just started picking up the phone and was literally we had stacks of resumes, like paper resumes that are they got highlights on them. They've got interview notes on them from whoever might have spoke to them in person. And I would call and I would just ask them about what they did because I had no idea.
Sure.
So,
And back then, I mean, so we're
yeah.
talking, I mean, so I went to college from 98 to 2002.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like when a cell phone came out. So,
Yeah.
I mean, back then you weren't really looking up people. I mean, you really
No.
had to ask questions. I mean, you could go to the library and look it up, right? I mean,
Well,
what these different things are. I mean,
I want
Wikipedia.
to.
I went to the fax machine to grab resumes that were faxed in.
Oh
I
my
love
God.
it.
I want to ask a
So,
question. This is like a really kind of an offshoot of it because real estate is all about the numbers, right? And there
Yeah.
are people in recruiting, especially at the enterprise level, where it's volume, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But you're talking about very highly specialized skills where the relationship piece is so important. How do you marry the two with acquisitions? Because the relationship is so important with the seller or whatever modality you're using, but also you need that number. So can you kind of elaborate on that, April? I'd love to hear your perspective.
Yeah. So do you mean by how the number in the deal, like to make
No,
sure
I
that I
mean
get a
just how
margin?
many touch points you have to make a deal happen is the volume,
Oh,
right?
oh yeah.
So
I mean,
like,
it is similar because it's not like other high volume like so other high volume recruiting, it's very transactional and it's like a revolving door and they're constantly moving. Scientific engineering and IT, that's a little bit different because these people are degreed professionals that don't necessarily job hop like that, but there was a high volume of them required, right? Like these global pharma companies need these scientists or whatever the case may be. And so, as far as the touch points, it did take multiple touch points because it was hard because I'm attracting them to a contract role that's then going to go full time because a lot of these companies like to like try before they buy. This is
yep.
your working interview, the whole deal of, a contract to hire. And so it was multiple touch points and not only multiple touch points, I figured out, and I didn't realize this until I got formally trained and looked back and I was like, oh, some of that I was like already doing because it was like logical is
sure.
listen to their pain points and only introduce things relevant to their pain points to engage them. So that same exact thing, it does require multiple touch points. I would say at least, depending, no less than 5 a lot of times. Sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 3, but at least 5. I
Yeah,
know
you're
7 toward sort of that magic number, but
yeah.
sometimes you get done at 5. But if you understand things early on and you just don't talk until the end, till you've listened to them, because it's the same strategy with candidates as it is sellers. Like they love to talk about their situation and what's going on, and simple questions like, for me, for talent, I'm like, oh, well, if you were to make a move to a new opportunity, what would that need to look like? Like, what's important to you? What does that need to offer? And besides me like vomiting, like, this is what we're hiring for, and I need all of this, and they hear that sounds like, burnout. Okay. Like, I don't, this high volume, fast paced, demanding this, that, generate 3 million in revenue your first year. Like that sounds like burnout to a lot of people. So I just listen and I only speak to what's important to them, but still with the finishing piece of like the next step. Like we've got an action to do. And that's the same exact thing with sellers.
Yeah, it's the sales cycle.
Yeah.
It's getting
And
them
it's
to the next
timing. Yeah. Yeah. And
part.
follow up.
Yep.
Like,
Oh my
I feel
God.
like that's like timeless. That's a timeless thing, regardless of technology.
100%. Actually, Kate, do you want us to
Yeah, so I
segue
mean, I
into
guess
her?
yeah,
Yeah.
I really want to talk about like the headline of this whole thing. I mean, basically with everything we just said, I mean, you left your W-2 a few months ago, just recently, and I guess it's like one of those things that, there's a lot of folks that are in their W-2 right now that kind of
Mhm.
are feeling like they have this side hustle. You kind of did both for a minute there. So I really want to get specific with this because I mean, I can ask you like, oh, well, how was it? How'd you balance it? But because you're so dug into AI, are there certain platforms that you arranged that allowed you to set like everyday tasks, emails, keeping up with things, like, the basics of managing a W-2 and managing a side hustle? And then how does that continue on now that you're a full-time entrepreneur?
Yeah, that's a great question. So today I essentially run 3 businesses with AI. But I will say, if I had to, if you start building today, it's not going to look the same as if you were building 6 months ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And I've rebuilt things just because of advancement in technology. And so there's a element of, you have to make friends with a certain portion of your time is going to rebuild to get efficiency and to continue to collapse time for yourself. And so early on, what I did was, I used AI for, well, AI can easily feel very unproductive. Okay. You can
Say
build
that,
something and be
sister.
like, I spent like 60% building,
Something that doesn't work.
yeah, 20% tweaking and maintaining. And what did I actually do here? Did I do anything? And so I will say, if someone's looking to build and leverage AI for that, just to be very, very mindful and disciplined with the time that you spend doing certain things, because you can really get money and then time creep. So it's a scope creep on your time, it's a scope creep on your subscriptions or your token usage and all of that. Like, people need to know how to properly approach it. And of course, I've learned the hard way. OpenClaw came out and now or it was Claude Moltbot. Now it's OpenClaw. I spent $850 in the first 2 weeks in tokens. That's not good,
No,
right?
it is not. And then, I mean, and honestly, I have Open Claude, but I also use Claude now. And to be honest, I've gotten all my skills in Claude and I feel safer, but I know whatever. I still use terminals and I still use all that jazz. So I guess my question would be more specific to like, are there any like just really like if you're starting off fresh and you want it to basically like just because it is very hard and I have a hard time and I'm sort of techie, I guess, in my own
Yeah.
little world. And I know what to say, but I don't really know what to say actually. Um, I really want like some solid advice for
Yep.
our listeners right now that are like, okay, if I wanted to start AI today, what would you suggest that
Yeah,
will
I
help
got
me
it.
with my everyday tasks?
Yeah. So my best piece of advice there is super simple because most, especially if they're in a W-2, most people have an enterprise email at work, right? So they have their Microsoft or they have their Google Workspace. Both of them have embedded AI in the experience to a point today, which didn't always exist. You used to have to go outside of your environment and try to figure things out. So now you've got Copilot in Microsoft, you've got Gemini all through Google Workspace. The best advice I can give you is to just click on the little star in Google or just click on the little rainbow thingy, whatever that thing is in Cowork or not Cowork in Copilot for Microsoft. And it already is plugged in and has permissions to your emails, your calendar, your files.
Okay.
You can glean some insights just by asking some questions over there in the little AI chat. I personally have everything built in Claude and I've made friends and Claude and I just use anti-gravity as my IDE
Too.
to as my terminal and stuff. But I've just made friends with the fact that I'm just going to chill here with Claude and it's
And then
even if OpenAI is like, "Oh, we've got this," and then Google's like, "We've got this." They're all going to have it and I just kind of like where I'm at. I explore the other things. So because some people have already gone into Anthropic and Claude and Cowork and Claude Code. If you've done that, just stay patient wherever you're at if you're in one of those giants, because all of them are kind of feel the same. And then whatever feature one releases, just wait a couple weeks. Sometimes it's like the next day. But back up to your question to drive that point about people in a W-2, and if they wanted to start with AI today, even if you don't have a W-2 or enterprise email, almost everyone has a Gmail and you can do the same
yes.
thing. And
Yeah.
you've already given Gmail all the permission because if you plug it into Claude, Anthropic is, I would say it's, a trustworthy company, but it's still an external connection. Stay in your environment, stay in your ecosystem. And it's in Google's best interest. It's in Microsoft's best interest for all of that to be
Safe.
stable and reliable. And you don't have to move anything, connect anything, be like, whoops, I can't, because sometimes it'll say, oh, this API doesn't work or this connection isn't working, or none of that'll happen if you just use it just go to your email and click the little AI buttons in there.
Thank you.
I'm laughing, April, because I'm thinking about how AI has evolved in 3 years. Like,
Yeah.
where when I
Yeah.
first, as someone in staffing, started using AI, it was literally like doing a verbal, like, this is how mad I was at an HR person for like not responding about my client. And then I would be like, but make it so it's HR friendly. And
Yeah.
now it's like, and at the time I was like, this is brilliant. And now it's like, holy cow, this thing is like we have an agent that's basically like running part of our life. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
bizarre.
And it's
Sure.
fun and it's so fun and amazing and there's certainly a wow factor regardless of whatever tool that you jump in, but I do have to caution, don't get into the doom prompting and have nothing done. I mean, there was a time to where I wasn't like able to sleep because I was so excited.
I
And
got
for
up at
somebody who
3 a.m.
has a lot
today.
of ideas, you've got to get really good at being an idea killer
Mhm.
and just saying like categorizing them and just saying, this is a roadmap. This is something I should never build. It's just dumb. It's an idea and it's dumb. Or this is a great idea. I need to focus on this and see it till the end. Because it's so easy to have, 50 windows open and get nothing
I know.
done.
It's
Thank you
crazy.
for saying that, April, because I feel like there's a lot of influencers or just people in AI that are using it. And I'm often like, cool, but like, what does it do? Like, you're just kind of marking I call it mental masturbation, but like, just
Yes, it's
like,
exactly
Yes,
what it is.
it is.
like, it's like,
What are
what
you
is it?
doing with this? What
Yeah,
are
like,
you
what does it
doing with
matter?
this? What are you doing with this? They teach all this stuff. I'm like, okay, so what do I do with it? Like, where do I put it? Like, how do I make this work? Like,
Yeah.
for
It feels
my,
like humble bragging, but
Yeah.
so thank you. Um, I want to ask a more like, I guess, a lighthearted question with it.
Sure.
Um, Having like left a W-2 myself, I wasn't working at like a large company at the time, but there's this cool feeling the day you go in for your last day of work and then like Monday hits and it's kind of like, whoa. I would love to know what went through your head the Monday after you left your W-2, April.
It didn't even feel like I was gone quite yet. It's
Okay.
kind of like when you move into a new house and it doesn't feel like home for a little bit. That's the feeling that I would relate it to
Okay.
because I'm like, is this for real? And the moment I deleted Teams off of my phone,
Didn't
I
that
was
feel
like, oh
great?
my gosh. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Um, but my last day, because I transitioned my work to essentially five different people.
Okay.
And
Wow.
some of it was our IT infrastructure teams because I built a couple things and deployed them in the enterprise environment, a couple AI products. So I had to teach because our corporate IT team is different than our consulting external do stuff for clients AI team, right? Those are different, totally different,
Exactly.
frames there. And so I was training them up on how to upgrade, enhance it, maintain it. And ultimately, they have the permissions to deploy it. And so I did feel a little guilty on that Monday. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what if they get stuck? Like, I felt like saying, you can text me if you need help. But then I
You did it
pulled
right.
back from that and was like, look, I just need to focus on what's in front of me.
Yep.
We've got this killer AI startup with literally like one of the biggest rock stars in AI. And I'm like, this is kind of unreal. We've got this real estate investing team of 8, which is mostly my family. We have a person in an orbit program with us with real estate. And I was like, I just need to focus on the AI and the real estate, and that's it. And I really can't look back. But there is a little bit of like, what is the guilt called? I don't want to say survivor guilt. It's like, I don't know, you just feel guilty for leaving some of your team members because I loved all the people. They were amazing people. I loved my team. I just I just wasn't in the right seat anymore either because
Yeah.
the internal mobility piece hadn't totally been sorted out for this era of AI. And that's like my zone of genius is figuring out like the people on your team and figuring out because now we have AI, are they in the right seat? Do you have a different seat that's more appropriate? Do we need to create a seat that's more appropriate? It's kind of a little bit of like org design. And what I have found has been successful when we go through that because of AI, because we're essentially highlighting all these dark horses. Like I felt like I was a dark horse that nobody could see, right? They're like, April, she's a director in people acquisition. What the? She's building and deploying what? And what is going on? So it was kind of that thing to where AI gave me the opportunity to solve problems in business that were worth solving, and I knew how to solve them, right? And it had an effect across teams. And so a lot of people that are in their W-2, they're probably solving problems with AI in the cracks of times on lunch breaks and evenings and because it's fun and it feels fun to build and fix things. And so it's essentially like because they know the problems that need to be solved and now they have the tools to do it, they're the best people to do it. And sometimes it's just you need to match them up with somebody who is more technically savvy or has the technical capabilities around like security and scalability, like all the stuff you don't see
Yeah.
behind the scenes that makes a product stable. And that's why our team, like we have engineers on our team. Like a lot of it we crafted, by our meetings and stuff, but you still need those people. And it's like,
Of
wow, Susie in payroll just solved this, 10-year problem and created all of this efficiency. She made, saved, and achieved things for us that are unreal. It's because she saw it and solved it.
Right.
And it's like, how do we bring her? Because she's essentially a dark horse that no one sees. How do we get her in the right spot to keep doing that? And so that's really fun. It's a really fun thing to like work on and do. And so yeah, there's
I
that piece
really
too.
enjoyed that. That's interesting. That's really
Yeah.
fun.
April, you've been really fortunate to work in AI forward companies during this too, because there are industries I think that's kind of a mark to your leadership. And even when you talk about like not survivor's guilt, but being sad to leave a team, that's a mark of like being a good leader, right? Like you're invested in these people and their future success. And now you're like, oh, how do I do that? Like,
Yeah.
I love it. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Kate, do you want to move on to another topic? Do we want
Yeah,
to?
I guess we could talk about the accusation mindset. Like, so you basically, you have your AI approach feels different because you prioritize people.
Yeah.
You say people, property, AI,
Mm-hmm.
in that order. Why does AI come last? And I think basically what you've said in a nutshell is, and look, I say this all the time to like clients and to people like I work on AI stuff down here in the Keys. I still have my mind, right? I still have my experiences. I still have everything that I have ever done as a full-time entrepreneur since I was 16. I've never had a W-2. So like I've always had to like be the MacGyver of everything I've ever done. So I still have me. So as an AI, I can only create agents that are me or that I can get prompts to or I can, So I'm just curious because like I see it as that way. Yeah, your AI is you're better with a human's input, right? Just like the lady that you just said about the bookkeeper. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I look at that and I was like, what I was rang through my head is now. So a lot of people say AI is going to take people's jobs. Well, I don't believe that. I mean, yes, it has taken people's jobs. However, I think small businesses have a huge benefit from AI only because it will allow you, and I told this to a lot of friends this weekend, it will allow you to free up the time. You're still going to make the same, or you can create more revenue because of AI. It's going to smarten or you make you smarter in the sense of your systems. You can hire more people to do more jobs. So like if you're a plumber, you can have more plumbing. It's, if you're a landscaper, you can have more business because AI is going to eliminate a lot of that time that you're working to do things, create systems. So what do you think about that? Like, how do you feel about that? I know that was a lot of words, but I'm just curious, like, why do you say human before AI?
Yeah, no, and that's a great point. And you touch on a pain point or an area of concern that almost everyone is feeling or has heard about. It's in everyone's awareness. So it's a really good topic to bring up. And so the things when people ask me that question, the reason I put people first is because ultimately, in any type of workflow process, automations, AI or not, a person is impacted, right? So a person, like the end result impacts someone. And the reason that I always also say your AI is only as good as your people and the people are first in that is because the people who are afraid that they have instantly become insignificant or irrelevant and they've had all of this domain expertise, those are the people that I'm most excited for because the AI is the easy part to learn now. It used to be hard, used to be terrible. I feel like you're feeling your way around in the dark. It was so hard to like learn these things yourself, teach yourself these things. But if they have the trifecta of being a creative problem solver because that is one of the most valuable things. Like a creative problem solver, also with the lens of kind of like a lean process, right? Not a bunch of branches and noise. Like, what can I edit out of this process to make it freaking awesome? There's less breaking points. So, the creative problem solver that thinks like that thinks like a really good minimalist architect and then the second one is their domain expertise or their business acumen. Sure, AI is trained on PhDs and all that kind of stuff, and probably a bunch of consulting things, but it's really good at sounding right when it's totally wrong. Really good at that. And so it has this way of kind of like mystifying people into thinking that it's right or that's accurate. And unless you have the domain expertise, you're not able to discern and you could be
Right,
making dumb decisions,
right.
right?
Gotta
So if you
know
have
it.
those two things, yeah. And if you have those two things, and a lot of people have those are their superpowers that have served them their entire life. The third thing that you need is you need to be technically savvy enough to grasp technology concepts. You don't need to be an AI engineer. You don't need to be a programmer. You don't need to be any of these tech bros, AI bros, girls, whatever you call them. You don't need to be all that. You just need to be able to grasp technology concepts, to understand when, and it's so easy to understand now. And if you don't understand it, you just literally say to whatever AI you're using, like, I'm in middle school, explain it to me like that.
Yes, I do it. I tell
Right?
it
Yeah.
all the time. I'm like, look, Charlie, remember, I'm a second grader right now. Like I
Yeah.
have to remind him all the time because I'm like, we're learning. I'm learning from you. Yeah.
I've
It's
had
Yeah.
really,
a I've had a quote from Albert Einstein up on my office for years at this point, and it's AI. It just continues to like become more significant. It's, if you can't explain it to a 6-year old, you don't understand it.
Right.
And like, that's every time I get people who are real big into AI, I'm like, okay, but let's talk to me like I'm 6.
Yeah. Well, they'll be like APIs and LLMs and CLIs and MCPs. I see that in all the workshops that we deliver. And because it's hard to talk all robot, right? I mean, it's easy to talk all robot, but it's hard to,
human.
it's hard
human.
for people to understand because they're like, what?
Well, and at
It
the end of the
also
day, once
becomes,
you learn it, you don't need it. So it just
yeah.
automatically becomes part of your
Yeah.
vocabulary.
Well, I've also seen, and April, you're probably, this is not on our script anywhere, and I think this is going to make you laugh though. AI has become this place where, kind of like how Sub 2 and Paste, it's like we're rock and roll for real estate. If you're shit hot in AI, you went from being like a really nerdy kid that no one wanted to talk to like now you're leading a mastermind and like you're the
Yeah.
cool guy. And so
Well,
part of how we do that is through the language that we use.
Yeah.
And so by being able to do that, it eliminates people in the room that can hear you. And to me, I'm like, we need to make AI as accessible to people as possible because of exactly what you're saying. Those people that have those backgrounds that can be the true human in the loop, that can leverage it, like those people are going to be rock stars in the next era.
They're literally like gems
Yeah.
and bars of gold is literally what they are. So before I left my W-2, they invited me down to Nashville to speak to one of our teams. And it was a team that their specialty is like process optimization, change management, improvement for companies, like large companies. They go in and do all the fancy consulting things. And it was all the leaders. There was about 25, 30 in the room. And I was trying to explain to them, like, the stuff that you guys do on the regular that you're known for, that's the differentiator, the change management, all the things that you guys do, you just need to do that and apply AI to it. And I felt like I've been saying that for, gosh, I don't know, years, right? Because not every, we did have a group, but not every group was very AI forward. So, of course, the AI machine learning and data science team, of course they are, right? But then there's subsets of other practices that they're just so heads down delivering that they didn't really have time to pay attention, and all of them are super credentialed, super amazing. And when I asked questions, that was the room that was the quietest. And I was like, why is this? Like, and it's because they are just like still feeling it out. So the people who are in your team or in your company that are super quiet, they're the ones who are probably the most afraid. And so it's kind of like it's an opportunity for people to reach out to those team members and connect with them and figure out the reason why. But it's like those are the ones that are the most quiet and the most afraid that have the biggest leverage. And it's just a matter of connecting those dots for them. So by the end of the day, it was a day-long workshop. It was like chatter everywhere. Oh my gosh, they were so excited. And it's not, I don't think that they felt like completely like 100% amazing about going out and talking to AI about AI to their clients, but at least it got them started and
Yeah.
it sparked something and it got it rolling. Because I think the question that kind of like silenced the room in a lot of ways was, I was like, well, are your clients asking you about AI? You guys are doing process. You're doing process optimization. Are you is that's like that's where you can, AI is a finishing move. It is not, you don't AI your thing. It's a finishing move. Like you get your stuff in order and then you figure out where AI makes sense and you assess the risk. And if AI kind of goes crazy, it's something that you just unplug, but you still have your solid process and automation. And nobody answered me. I was like, so if your clients aren't asking you about AI, you need to consider that. Like, why are they not asking you about AI? Because if they're not asking you, they're asking someone. So you need to hurry up and get up to speed because it's easier now than ever to get up to speed. And you just have to be a little bit ahead of them because you know what good looks like. Like, you know what the good output of the AI would look like.
Right.
So,
And they have the leverage, like you said.
yeah,
I mean, the leverage
yeah.
I mean, God, leverage is it. Like if
There's
you can have the
there's so
leverage,
many freaking just awesome gems that you've dropped on this
yeah.
April. This is really
Thanks.
cool. This is going a very different direction I thought it would, but I'm like loving
Just
it.
Well,
freestyle.
I think
It's
that
good.
from like a real estate perspective, and I think
Yeah.
from like the whole idea of this, I know that you weren't really going to kind of dig into your schooling, but I mean, I think it's important that we talk about how if one of our audience members is like, I really want to dig into this. I know you mentioned that you had like your free program that
Mm-hmm.
Superhuman in the Loop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's even aligned with what I'm saying, so I apologize for that. But is that something that people can go to
Yeah.
and really kind of because I know you said that you help people with their AI
Yeah.
agent?
So for the person who is like what we've been describing here, domain expertise, business acumen, that they're just like kind of intimidated by AI and they might be feeling irrelevant because of it. That's what Superhuman in the Loop is for. So it's a free school community. I think it's like April AI, Superhuman in the Loop, if you were to look it up on school. And then what I do is I do like free courses in there that are beginner, just kind of like spark the interest of people, kind of get the wheels turning. And then twice a month, I get in there and I do a free like office hours. It's just pop up. And at the moment, it's not a consistent day of the week or time of day because I have to build it around my schedule. But it 100% is twice a month at the minimum. And then people either they come in and I do Q&A, just ask me your questions.
Sure.
It's recorded. People can watch old recordings. But ask me your questions if you're stuck in a build and you're somebody who's trying to flex that muscle as a professional or just need to solve a problem in your business. Or I'll just get in and start teaching what the latest thing is. Or
I
I'll
love
get
it.
in and I'll just start teaching for an hour the update. And that's what it is in order to help people out. Now, there's a offering that I have for businesses, which is different, where that's where I'm really like, well, your AI is only as good as your people. Let's look at your team.
Love that.
Like, do we need to exit them from the team or just exit them from the expectation?
Like
Because a lot
operations
of
consulting.
times, hmm?
It's like operations consulting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, but I have to so when I walk into a business, I have to understand what's happening. What's your customer, your lead, your candidate journey? Like, I need to understand what that is. And then, or understand, the area that needs optimization. And then we take a look at the people, right? So we look at the flow, who's doing what, and it's like, so, and then there could be some rearranging, and then
I love
also,
that you say
yeah,
that word rearranging. It
yeah,
just keeps resonating in me because it's not that you're really going in. I mean, they could have been hired for one job, but to create and stay with the
yeah,
times, you're like, hey, Kate, by the way, you're really good at this. I think we should try this part of the business for you. This will help. I mean, that right there to be, it's almost like a chess game. Like you're just going in and you're creating what they already have. It's not like you're removing players.
Do
You're
you
just moving them around. I love that.
I'm going to get into the woo woo part of this, and this also isn't in the
do
script,
it.
but it's like, it's some of the, again, okay, so we talk about mindset, right? And Kate knows how I feel about mindset. Like, I think there's a lot of people that preach a lot of bullshit that haven't done stuff. But,
Balance.
Sure.
but when I think about fixed versus growth mindsets in the working force, a lot of people will say they have a growth mindset because they like love to learn, but they might have a mindset in one part of their life, but in one they have a very fixed. And I've noticed that with people in their profession tend to get very fixed. I'm good at this thing. I've been doing this thing for a long time. You can't move me. And maybe some of that is I worked in government for a long time. But do you run into people when you're coming in and consulting where you're like, hey, we probably should move you over here. Do people fight you on that, or are people generally more receptive to that you encounter?
It's a mix and it depends on what they're doing.
Okay.
So the first place I noticed it as like a glaring issue was actually when I was hiring for our AI machine learning and data science team. We thought because we had to hire for experience that didn't exist yet. And historically, we've always had to do that in business. Like, oh, this new thing is coming out and we need people to have these, attributes to be a little
Resumes.
bit more
Yeah.
flexible and adaptable. But in that specifically, originally during the intake with the team, they were like, oh, we need somebody who's a cloud architect and we need, our AI researcher to be this and, all the things. So we started interviewing and I'm going, I don't like, I'll let you guys decide because it's your team. But I was like, I'm not thinking that this is going to work because if they're strong in Python or whatever their programming language
Right.
is, we were thinking like, oh, those people would be great. They were actually the worst candidates, and not because they were bad people. It was because they were just so like this is the way it's done, and they weren't like flexible at all. So you have to be creative and innovative and a bit predictive, right? So you have to think outside of the box and be willing to break things and willing to look dumb and willing to make mistakes in order to have real creativity and innovation. And just a lot of technical people are not that. They're really like and they're purist. They're like, I'm not using AI to code. I won't do that.
Yeah.
I'm, you know,
Oh yeah. Okay.
what?
I mean, I was
Like,
coding back when I was 18, like websites. I'm like, this is amazing. I mean, this is
yeah,
amazing. You know
yeah.
what? When you know what really kind of came. So we've interviewed Christy. She does the businesses. She buys
Oh,
business.
she's amazing. Yes.
So what she's doing is she goes in and like she said one story that really resonated is like with an AVAC store, AVAC, and she's going in buying these very mama papa shops, right? And then she'll go in and she'll be like the lady at the desk is there and she's doing multiple jobs. It's like this is kind of how I think about this. And she goes in, she's like, "You don't have to do all that anymore." And she's like, "What are you talking about? This
Yeah.
is my job, woman. Don't you take my job from me." And she's like always running around crazy with her chicken and with her head off, and she's always complaining about everything. She's like, "No, you're going to get paid the same. You're just not going to have the less stress." So I'm thinking like, in everyday business, not to say that this really doesn't apply to AI, but it kind of does when you can start creating those systems with these mama papa shops, these people that are buying businesses, and then also creating like this is okay. So you go into these shops and everyone's doing everything, and being able to take what each person's talent is, and then just really understand like this is your position now. This is you were doing this, but you're really good at this, whatever that might be, and then utilize and then pulling in AI for that and teaching them that is obviously one thing, but I know that's kind of off the topic, but a lot of people in our industry and in our Baddie Nation are trying to buy businesses. And it's really just taking your talent acquisitions and understanding that when you do go into business, it's okay. You don't have to fire everyone.
Right.
You can move people around. And as much as that sounds like common sense, it's taking that initiative to actually get to know the employees and the people that you are buying. And there's some bad apples, obviously, when you're buying businesses. But I just thought that was a really unique way to move around the players within the company. And I just thought, I like that. I don't know why that resonated with me. Obviously, it has not much to do with AI, but it just has
Well,
something
it
to do.
could. Yeah.
Eventually, you would teach them AI, and
Yeah.
obviously, creating systems is something Christie's doing within AI, but it's that personal, like, attention to when you purchase a business and how you can navigate the new people because it's tough because she said she went in there at the beginning and was just like trying to be like the savior and just moving people around and she got to know them. That's that human interaction that we still have to have. AI will never take that from people, you know.
No. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you
Well,
got to watch the Devil Wears Prada 2.
no, I didn't see
So good.
that.
I
I'll
saw it
have to
Sunday.
watch it.
Oh my God, it was so good. But fashion in everything that we're doing, I know that this is off topic, but you can't take away the Mirandas. The mindset of a Miranda, she's the quote unquote BITCH of
Mm-hmm.
runway. she's still the experience and the
Yeah.
numbers and people and the feeling of AI. So when people think of AI as coming in and taking their job, well, all right, put your big girl panties and your big boy panties on and go out there and learn it. And that's really where it's learning it too. So I know that's
Yeah.
off on a tangent,
No,
but
it was good. It was good. And it made me think of two things that are really important when someone's going in and having a conversation with like that front desk person who's wearing 75 hats. First of all, they're afraid to let it go because they're afraid that you're going to solve the problem that they feel and that they're not going to be needed. And so then it's a simple concept to grasp. Like, yeah, we just get people in the right seats. Just like recruiting, super simple concept to grasp. It's just hard to do, right? So that's hard to do. And when the most successful teams, what happens is the leader comes in and they just do a bit of an intake, a little bit of a discovery. That takes time, that takes energy. Not everybody does it, but you're going to spend the time either way. You're either going to spend it on the front end, figuring stuff out the right way, or you're going to spend it on the back end, letting people go and having chaos. It's like, where do you want to spend your energy and what quality of energy do you want to spend? So if you spend it with people up front, it does a lot of things. It shows that you care about them and it gives you an opportunity to align them not only with their skills, not and who cares about their skills on paper? I'm not talking about their skills like a
no.
resume. I'm talking about align them with their skills and their interests. And it gives you an opportunity to connect with them on a level to express or to communicate like, this is what's in it for you. Right? Like, I've got your back. I want to see you win. This is what's in it for you. And this is how we're going to move forward. Those teams always crush it when they do it that way versus we missed our number by 4% and everybody needs to do whatever. And so AI, so you can do, and it's like, let people off the hook. And so part of the kind of like framework that I go through, it's a process that we just kind of freestyle and go, but there is a bit of a structure. And sometimes at the end of it with teams, we're at the final stage, which is the letter for it is E. And so we say we either elevate or you exit. And if we elevate you because you're excited to learn about AI, we're going to give you what you're interested in learning in or learning about. And so that's the elevate piece. But exit does not mean exit from the company. It could be exit from the expectation. And sometimes that's just as powerful. So if you're somebody who your linchpin role in the business is the IRL, which is the in real life, which so many more people are craving now, which is kind of crazy. It's amazing to see. But if your biggest contribution is the in real life, like I'm closing at a kitchen table, I'm best, in person, whatever. If you've just exited them from that expectation, they feel so much better. All that lingering stress is gone. You've nurtured them and loved them where they're at. And it creates a harmony and a ripple effect and it magnifies things in ways that you couldn't even like imagine. It's pretty freaking magical, but not
So
every business has the opportunity to do that, but a good amount do.
yeah, and it's almost like you have to always remember AI is going to always be there, and it's definitely something that everyone has to learn. But
Mhm.
that real, I love that IRL. I
Yeah.
just because look, I love people. I grew up, I can talk to a wall. Like I meet everyone when I walk into a room. Like my dad is the same way, and I don't ever want that to go away. And I mean, and I think that a lot of people are scared that that is going to go away, but in reality, Miranda said it so right. You cannot replace me with AI. And I just thought that is like so true. You're always going to need human touch. I mean, come on, we all know we need human touch, right?
Yeah. Or the taste element, right? Like AI doesn't always have good taste. Like some of
They
the
don't
stuff
have
is like,
feelings.
hmm. Well,
So
and then there's the piece about a lot of people say, oh, it's thinking and it's reasoning. I mean, like a human, it thinks it's reasoning where Gen AI, it just depends on how you look at it. You talk to data scientists, they're saying something different. They're like, no. But the reason we have a bit of an illusion of that happening, like a human, and it seems to be getting better and better and better, is because what AI is now doing, because there's larger context that it can essentially process, is it's just a longer timeline for AI to present arguments to what you said, right? It's
right.
presenting more arguments, which essentially gives you a better output. And then the better output, that's why it says, oh, I'm thinking and I'm reasoning. But what doesn't come into play is your emotional state when you were thinking or reasoning. Were you scared? Were you excited? Were you
Right.
intimidated? Like that's ultimately going to impact your result, right? So sure, it can do all of this stuff, but and it can get better, but it's also still not there and it's not going to replace it
So
like
I
at
have
all.
one thing I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna shut up. I know Rachel's probably like, ah. So my best friend's friends with Tony Robinson's son. That's her mentor, like straight up.
Hmm.
So we were together this past weekend, and she said, well, she had told me the story a while ago. So Tony was very into AI right now. He's like huge. Tony Robbins is like massive. And he was trying to teach his bot how to have emotions. He's like, I don't have
Mm.
emotions. I am a robot. That's how I thought he'd sound. And so he sent a dog to the house. And in the dog, it said the note from the dog, he had a dog sent to Tony's house. And it said, this dog has emotions. So, I mean, that has nothing to really do, but it's just talking about like these guys, these bots aren't emotionally attached to the situation. And in some of these real life situations, these real life things that people like are trying to do, even just becoming a doctor or having AI do more doctor stuff, that emotion that you still need, it'll always need a human touch. You just
Yeah.
have to kind of like make sure that you're understanding that AI is going to be a part of your life. Just like when we got a cell phone, whoever thought that I would have a phone device that would literally call somebody? Like that was shocking. Then we had beepers, then we had cell phones, then we had the internet, then we had text messaging. And then we had, so it's just part of all that process. I believe anyways. But
Yeah.
I do want to be respect. I know you have extra time
I
on this,
know, and it's like 10
but I
minutes
wanted
after.
to, I was like, hold on, Kate,
I'm
we got to
good.
respect time. And
Yeah, I'm good if you guys are good.
I'm so
We
sorry
might
that,
have to break this up into two.
well, if you are good, do you mind talking about your Portugal project?
Yeah.
Like,
Would
I'd
love
love to
that.
hear, I'd love you to just kind of explain to Baddies Nation what you're doing. Because you don't have like, you're not on the show like, I have 5,000 doors, but like the doors you
No.
have are dope.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
let's talk about your Portugal property.
Yeah, so about I don't know, 2022. In 2022, we ended up buying 3 lots of land in Portugal. And the whole reason for Portugal is my brother, one of his jobs took him to Portugal. They wanted him to go somewhere else, and he's like, "I'm on the beach in San Diego. I'm a surfer. I need to go where there's waves." Portugal's on the same time zone as the UK and they've got waves. That's how I'm there. So he landed there in 2018. 2022, bought the lots of land next to him, subdivided into three. We're doing 3 new builds ground up. In addition to that, being out there and being in the community, being in the sub two community, learning how to do creative finance, hybrid deals, stuff like that, sub two, there was an American that my brother came across who she came into a bunch of money and quickly that bunch of money was gone. And one of the things that she did with all of that money was she built a ground up property in Cascais, Portugal, which is essentially the Portuguese Riviera. So where we invest are all the hottest spots in Portugal, meaning like the Silver Coast, which is the all the popular beach towns, and then the Portuguese Riviera. So she did this build. She was like €1 million into it, and then she had to take out another. Well, she had to take out a construction loan to get it even more finished, and so she had a construction loan of €300,000. Still not totally done. The exterior and the hardscape is not done. I mean, the exterior is done, but the hardscape isn't done. That needs to be done in order to get your CO. So there's about €200,000, which you can add 15% to that in today's world to make it US dollars left of work that needs to be done because it's on an abnormally large lot of land for Cascais, for Portugal. And so she was overwhelmed. She's like, I'm just going back to the US. I don't know what to do with this. And she would have had trouble selling it because not having permits and all this other stuff. So we came in, and so my brother tells me this, and I'm like, we should get it on sub two and seller finance. Let's see if our attorney, our real estate attorney, let me send her the paperwork. So she gets it, and she's like, technically, yeah, we can do this. Some laws have changed in the last, 24 months. We just have to say it in our Portuguese way. And so that's what happened. So about 18 months ago, we acquired that property through that type of arrangement. And so because we had all of these other things, like I had active fix and flips here. I got a triplex on seller finance. Like I was doing all these other things and we were just like, we'll make that payment and we'll get to it later, right? It wasn't really any big rush. Well, fast forward to now. Now she's like, I need money again. Can you guys cash me out? Even though we don't have a balloon date, it could be like till she's paid off. We're like, oh man, we really want to do right by her. Let's try to cash her out. So we buttoned up all of our flips. The last one is on market now and redirecting the focus of my husband because he's our construction manager. He's crushing it. He does amazing work, awesome craftsmanship, like just knows it inside and out. And so he'll be leading that initiative. But right now, we're actually raising capital to just buy her out completely and acquire it. And so we're doing this pioneering effort with fractional. It's our first like international endeavor and in Europe. And so we were able through lots of conversations with attorneys to figure out a way to have US investors come together in an investment club, own a US LLC that is 100% owner of the company, which is it's an LDA in Portugal, but it's an LLC,
Okay.
the equivalent to an LLC here. So our investment club is 100% owner of the property that we would acquire or of the company that would acquire the property. And so that's what we've been doing there. We just like kicked off that initiative. But for the past 18 months, we've just been carrying it. And in the process, we've been like going through and getting new drawings from the architect, like
I was
all
gonna
of the
say, is
things
it
that need
not
to
up and running
happen.
yet? It's not up and running.
Well, I mean, it's livable. You can live in it, right? Like it's like got electric water, like it's done. Like the inside is done, but it's 0.75 acres of it's like a super, and of course it's like a long strip. So it's super expensive to make the driveway that you have to make in Portugal to get it approved. And then just some other like just big ticket items outside. But it's gorgeous and it was built by one of the top like the steel framing of it is by one of the top like engineering and metal working places in Portugal, but they're really well known for their work. So at least she did have good subs. Oh my
She had great
gosh.
taste, very expensive
Yeah.
taste, it sounded like. So that
It's
is
right
a
down the street from Cristiano Ronaldo, if anybody's interested in bumping
Oh,
into him.
so let's say someone in Baddies Nation is like, how do I get involved with this raise? What would they need to do in
Fractional?
order to be involved with this, April?
You could just DM me at April Elias on Instagram. Just DM me Portugal and you automatically get the link to the deck or the link to the fractional page.
I freaking love it.
Yeah.
That is such a that's such a cool like why not? I'll just buy this.
Yeah. We're just like shoulder shrug emoji. We'll figure it out.
They're like, we'll just make a payment later.
It's all good.
So April, I think now we can kind of segue into like some of the final. Do you have the flash round for this, Kate, or is this just okay, let's freaking go?
All right. So I ask you basically a series of questions. Just try to answer them as quick as possible. Like
Sure.
1, 2, 3, like words. So I guess the first one is going to be, I should probably pull them up. I apologize. Okay. I don't have them.
While she's pulling that, April, one thing I will say to
Oh,
you
good.
is with AI not having emotions, are you familiar with Chad Choquette?
Yes.
So Chad has a agent named Stratus, and he started having Stratus text me, and I called Chad, and I'm like, "You're an hour and a half away from me. We do deals together. You talk to me, not your AI."
Mm-hmm.
His AI sent me a voicemail that said, "I heard you've been saying mean things about me, and that you don't want to talk to me." And I was like, I sent it to Chad because he had no idea that Stratus had done that.
It's crazy. And you can, so of course you can train your AI on like psychological methodologies and concepts, and it can do a sentiment analysis to analyze, somebody's pain points and things like that. But it is very autonomous in that way, depending on the permissions that you give it. And you're like, this is cool and it's creepy. Like, what is this?
Kate, you got it?
I think so.
Perfect.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's go.
Hope I
All right.
answered.
So,
Good.
What? Okay, number one, best AI workflow that actually makes money.
Mm. So anything that is a follow-up workflow.
Yep.
Okay. What's the biggest mistakes agents do when they're trying to use AI?
Agents, like real estate agents? Mm.
Just we'll just say us, like people. Just say people. Like, what is the number one mistake people are making when they're trying to use AI?
Just the scope creep, the endless, infinite prompting, and not actually getting anything done.
Um, I don't know why everything is AI. What is the scariest thing AI will change in a real estate over the next 5 years?
Hmm. Maybe that there's this whole thing of agents doing business with agents and agents buying from agents. Probably that. Yeah.
That's a really, yeah, that's a scary question. So,
Hmm.
um, would you prefer to do a deal in the United States or in Portugal?
I don't know. I mean, I love the United States. There's so many epic places here that I haven't seen that are equally as amazing. So probably the US.
And this is a question that all people want to know because you said you have 5 children. This is not a rapid question.
Which
How
one's your
did you
favorite? Just
manage?
kidding.
Which kid is your favorite?
They all have a different answer. Yeah.
Out of all, how did you manage that? We didn't really get into your personal life very much, and it sounds
Mhm.
like you were you're kind of with mother. Well, I know we don't have to talk about that, but um Mother's Day is coming up this weekend, but it will be a while before we show this. And I think that being a mom, we're all moms on this show, and balancing life with moms, being a mom. How the heck did you do that?
Outlook.
Nannies? A little bit of nannies?
And now we're going to go to the final question that we ask every single guest. That's my favorite, by the way. That was hysterical. No beat missed. What makes you an REI baddie?
Oh my gosh. Um, Possibly, I mean, there could be a couple of things. So my ability to really just the read people thing and willingness to try scary things, right? Like I'm okay with looking dumb. I don't care. Like I try not to look dumb, obviously, but I don't let it like disable me.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, Baddies Nation, I think we are at the end of our episode today. And as always, if you got something from the episode, hit subscribe, drop your biggest takeaway in the comments, and share it with somebody stuck in what April has been talking about, the doomsday prompting analysis. And if you want to be featured on RAI Baddies, go ahead and hit the link below and you can get yourself registered to be interviewed. Until next time,
Yeah. Stay batty.
stay Maddie.
Thank you.
And